Today, the format and all the details have been released for the UCI Cycling Esports World Championships, and I'm going to cover all the information that we have, including some visuals of the tracks and the worlds that our elite athletes will be racing on later this year. So back in August 2023, the UCI did announce that MyWhoosh would be the host platform for the next 3 editions of the UCI Cycling Esports, but it's only today that we get the information on those finals. I just want to say, if you want to hear the information directly from MyWhoosh, myself and Chris Fenker, my podcast co-host over on the Virtual Velo podcast, did interview Matt Smithson from MyWhoosh, and he gave us the inside scoop on all the details. So to hear us and Matt discuss the finals, go and check out that podcast. There's a link down in the description below. Now, the UCI and MyWhoosh have announced that the World Championship Finals will take place on Saturday, the 26th of October 2024, in a live final to be held in Abu Dhabi in the UAE. The new format will see 150 male and 150 female athletes compete in the semi-finals for the qualification before the top 20 men and top 20 female athletes progress through to that live final in the UAE. Before we look at the race format, which is super interesting by the way, let's look at that qualification pathway in a bit more detail. MyWhoosh and the UCI have said that a series of qualification pathways will be held in the months leading up to the finals, with approximately 80% of the starting spots for the semi-finals to be allocated by each country's national governing body or federation, which is typical of what we have seen in the past. The other 20% of those semi-finalists will qualify through the MyWhoosh public qualification process. So opportunities for athletes not selected by their national governing bodies to get themselves through to those finals. MyWhoosh also mentioned 2 wildcard spots which could be awarded to some outstanding athletes. I took this maybe we see some more high profile road pros, for example, if it fits their agenda, could make this work. That could be super cool and interesting too. Okay, so MyWhoosh confirmed the semi-finals will be a 2-stage format which will be held in September, with race 1 being over a 9-kilometer circuit, points race system in play, and the top 80 from each gender will move on then to race 2. Race 2 for the semi-final is an intense 4-lap race on a 4-kilometer circuit, again based around points, and this will narrow the field down to those top 20 athletes from each gender, which will go through to that live final in October. So let's look at those live finals. 20 men, 20 women will battle and race across 3 short points races, which will determine the final ranking. MyWhoosh say this is the ultimate test of strength and stamina. And looking at the format, it's also going to be about planning and the ability of riders to calculate and play out some tactical decision making in real life on those virtual roads to be crowned the 2024 UCI Cycling Esports World Championship, and of course wear the coveted rainbow bands. Race 1, the sprint. This is like a Formula 1 style qualifier. So basically racers have 15 minutes to set their time over a 300 meter individual sprint segment. This segment is placed on a 1.7 kilometer circuit. Riders can attempt the sprint as often as they want to during this 15 minutes. And just like Formula 1, they can either sit and wait for riders to set their times, or they can go straight out and smash that sprint. There's choice and the decision is theirs. If they are lucky enough to have any teammates in the final 20, they could also use teammates or other athletes around them on the circuit to take advantage of draft and momentum, for example. So a really different format, and this should be super interesting to see how that plays out. Race 2, this is all about strategy once again. This is on a brand new 9 kilometer circuit, purpose built for this race. I am told the circuit is like a rolling course with multiple point segments throughout the course for picking up points and building up that total points tally. So much like an Omnium that we see on the track, the way you build points is really interesting. But again, plenty to think about in terms of tactics and being able to make some decisions on the road based on what other riders are doing around you. Race 3, again, this looks like a real test of strength and stamina, given these races are going to be back to back with just 5 to 10 minute break in between each race. Again, this is a 4 kilometer circuit which is going to be completed 4 times. I'm told it has a short, sharp climb with points available at the top and then double points at the finish line. So riders really need to think about when they're going to try and pick up those points. Do they wait? Do they pick up points early? Or do they wait for those double points on the finish line? I think looking at the format, it's going to be really interesting watch, and the way MyWhoosh have set this out, it could come down to that final kick on that final climb to see who may or may not put on that rainbow jersey. So that's the qualification. That's the format. As mentioned, Chris has done interviews with MyWhoosh. He also sat down with David Lapontier and Michael Rogers from the UCI. And he also spoke to Tadej Pogacar whilst attending this press conference. And I'm also going to play those interviews out on episode 13 of the Virtual Velo podcast. Let me know what you think of the format, the qualification, down in the comments section below following this announcement. I personally can't wait to see, first of all, who makes those semi-finals and then progresses on to those live finals. I think it promises to be an amazing spectacle for those live finals in October. Don't forget, as always, to like, comment down below, let me know what you think, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you soon for more cycling esports content.